From their athleticism to motherhood to the push for social justice and change, the women of the W never cease to amaze. And we've got you covered from courtside to on location for the WNBA Finals. This is the Hardwood 94. Let's tip off. Welcome back to the Hardwood 94. I'm your host, Jackie Rae. Now, this game was electric right from the beginning. The fans were ready to show up and show out. They had the towels waving. The dogs was barking. Tom Brady was in the building as well. But I got to tell you, it was GOAT meets GOAT because LeBron James was here as well, showing up for Asia Wilson, who put up the first buckets for her team. But shout out to Stewie as well, the reigning MVP. She did her thing as well, putting up the first points for her team. Now, personally, whoever you're going for in this series, to me, the Aces just seem more relatable. They like each other. You can tell by the way they interact with each other on and off the court. But on the court, the whole team was ready to ride out after Becky Hammon got that technical. Now, don't get me wrong. Jonquel Jones, she's always dialed in. She's always soft-spoken. But Sabrina Ionescu in the pregame presser, she just looked annoyed.
Our first goal is to win a championship and to be the best athletes that we can be. Secondly is to grow this league and to make sure that we leave in better standing than we found it in. I think this matchup and the rivalry between us and the Aces have kind of done that and elevated the game and, growing the game in the right way. So we're just excited to be playing it as they are to watch it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just like every other game, the way that I prepare and, the mentality that I have coming into this game. I think we all kind of have that mentality. We're not going to change anything that we've done all season long. It's gotten us this far, and it's going to continue to help us through the finals as well.
Now, by the way, Sabrina actually left that presser early, and her spirits did not seem that great on the court. She only put up 7 points. Now, to be fair, championship basketball is just different. So maybe this moment was just a lot for her, but I would not count her out for this entire series. But the overall attitude of the Liberty did make me question a few things, so I had to ask Sandy Brondello about the chemistry of the team.
Look, I think you've seen this team grow from day one into now, and we put a lot of emphasis on our culture, which is driven by the players. We're not here unless the players buy into what we want to do on and off the court, and it's a credit to their character. We've got great players. When your best players are buying in, I mean, everyone's going to follow. But I've really, really enjoyed this team, just how they've come together, the relationships that they've built. And we've gone through some tough times, but I think that's where you see a team that's connected on the court because they overcome any kind of adversity. And we always talk about it, the more connection we have, the more commitment we have. And I think that's shown, and we're going to need that coming into this because there's going to be highs and lows. And we talk about, surfing the waves and however big or small the waves will be.
One of the most telling things about this series is how blatantly obvious it is that a team's chances for success increase drastically when the ownership group invests in the team. Coming up after the break, we're going to give you a different perspective. Sabrina Merchant from The Athletic is going to join us to talk about a variety of topics from around the league, plus the future of Nneka Ogwumike. This is the Hardwood 94. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Hardwood 94. Once again, I'm Jackie Rae. Now, Sabrina Merchant is a fellow sports journalist covering the league for The Athletic. She took a moment to talk to me about her league-wide poll, plus the future of Nneka Ogwumike. Take a look. I wanted to ask you a couple of things. First and foremost, you were doing this poll, and it was called, what, WNBA Confidential? Okay, tell me what you were asking and the results.
Yeah, so we, 4 years ago, we did a poll anonymously of WNBA players just around the league, asked them a bunch of questions about the state of the league, what are the issues they're facing, who they think the best players are, trash talkers, all that sort of thing. And we wanted to, do a redux this year now that everyone's back, pandemic regulations are down. So we got about a third of the league. We asked them about 8 questions, like who do you think is the best player in the league now, best player in 5 years, would you rather have expansion of teams or more roster spots, if you could play for another coach, who would it be, another franchise, where would it be, all sorts of things. And we could just go through broad strokes of the results. Yeah. So, check it out at theathletic.com. It's not behind a paywall, so everybody can rate it. But
side note, though, don't object to the paywall because that's how we get paid. But anyway, let's go. Let's continue.
Yeah, so we got about a third of the league this time around, and, at least 2 players from every team. So I think it's a pretty good sample of what you can see across all 12 teams. And I think the most interesting thing to me was that most of the players want more roster spots or expansion. even though we did see that the WNBA is expanding to more teams by 2025, but I think people are realizing that, with player development, there just isn't that much room with 12 players on a team, right? Like, because most teams can only carry 11, and then you just don't have enough room to carry players who aren't contributing right away. So I think that's part of it, where a lot of coaches and players just want more opportunities to hold players who are young to learn the system, especially because, like, when you get injured and stuff, like, then you're just bringing in hardships all the time. So I think that was a really interesting takeaway. And then also who people think is going to be the best player in 5 years, like A'ja Wilson in Runaway, I know Becky Hammon, when she was making her case for why A'ja Wilson should be the MVP, she's like, if you ask general managers, if you ask the players who they think they would want to build around, it'd be A'ja Wilson. And not only did the players say that, the general managers also said that in another edition of the poll that we took. So make sure to check out all those results from the players and the general managers.
Yeah, I'm excited. I was looking in the wrong place, but that's a story for another day. So now that I know where to find the article, I'm going to check that out. But I wanted to ask you another question as well, because we're here. This is an amazing venue. It was great for the All-Star weekend. You can see the investment that's put into the Aces. We obviously can see the same thing with the Liberty. So on a broader scale, is this a league where teams that have ownerships that invest in them have the better chance of success?
Absolutely. I think we're seeing a situation where 4 of the teams in the league are going to have their own dedicated practice facilities by the start of next year. And, Phoenix and Seattle are adding on by next year. Indiana and Vegas already have them. The free agents just go to teams where they think they're going to be treated well. They want to go to places where they have a locker. Candace Parker mentioned that when she came to Vegas this year, that she'd never had a locker in her however long WNBA career. They want to go places where they get fed in the morning. They get catered meals, basically, so they don't have to worry about that over the course of the day. They want to go places where they can just work out and be invested in their development. You think about it, if you're a player in Los Angeles, you have no place to go during the offseason that you can just work out because there's no facility. Yeah. So you have to make all these arrangements to find a gym, to find people, to work with. And that's just not an issue here. You think about the Aces, yeah, Candace Parker's out with foot surgery, but their core 4 players, Jackie, Chelsea, Kelsey, and A'ja, they must combine 1 game this year.
Right.
And I think the energy, the effort that they put into their performance staff definitely pays off over the course of the year.
We covered, that's how I met Sabrina, is covering the LA Sparks. And that was one of the first things that I've noticed. They were getting bounced from practice facilities. This year they had got bounced from crypto twice. And then for media, we didn't even have our parking, comped. So it was this whole mess of a situation that you just really don't expect to see from a team like the LA Sparks. Why do you think that the LA Sparks are kind of behind the 8 ball when it comes to investing in the team?
I find myself thinking about that question like every day, because the Sparks are under the same ownership group as the Los Angeles Dodgers. And you look at what's happened with the Dodgers over the past decade, just the amount of money that they've poured into their team and the success they've had. They've won their division all but 1 year over the last decade. And then the Sparks, they get to use the Los Angeles Lakers practice facility, but not all of it. And then they end up getting ice baths outside in the parking lot. Or, there are weeks where we're covering practice and it's 3 separate locations over the course of the week. And how do you plan your schedule in LA, around that?
Traffic.
It's just all different neighborhoods. I don't know how that happens. So, they have a new CAO and Karen Bryant. They've got a new head coach. I would assume that they came to Los Angeles because they expect good things to happen. But, it doesn't look like it yet. You've seen that decrease in attendance for the Sparks. It's such a glamour market. The fans will come if you put out a good product. Like, you look at Angel City just a couple miles away at, in downtown, that is just flourishing, 16,000 season ticket holders. There is an appetite for women's sports in Los Angeles, and I just hope that the Sparks can capitalize on it.
With their current situation and NECA only doing 1 year, let's just take our own personal poll. NECA back at the Sparks? Yes or no?
Yes.
No. I say emphatically no. And I think the reason why I say no is because I think NECA is at the point of in her career where she realizes there's probably more basketball behind her than in front of her. So she's going to want to go to an establishment where she feels like she can be in contention. I don't think the Sparks are it.
I think she cares about the legacy that she's leaving in LA and wanting to bring the league forward from this market. And I think just the history of it means a lot to her. So I do believe that she wants to finish out her career in LA, but I could be wrong, So we'll see what happens.
I cannot express enough how high the energy was in this room. So high, in fact, that Kelsey Plum took that energy and used it to channel some choice words for Tom Brady.
I looked at him and I said, "It's about effing time you shut up." But what I love about him is he just was like, "You already know." But no, that's not a goal for me. It's serious. And just super excited for his investment in our franchise and understanding what that means for us and the growth of not just us, but the league, and putting eyes on us. And so, I joke around, but man, like it's been really it's been awesome to have him. And I know he cares, and he has daughters and nieces that play women's sports, and so he understands the investment that it takes. So it's cool to be a part of.
The X Factor definitely played a part in the Aces' 99-82 win over the Liberty. Jonquel Jones was wreaking havoc on everybody, but what happens when Sabrina Ionescu wakes up out of her funk? Only the game will tell, and the game will be played right here on Wednesday night. I will be here, so make sure you're here by subscribing to our YouTube channel at NH Experience TV. Once again, I'm Jackie Rae. This is the Hardwood 94, and we'll see you next time.